Our final one, the monster list. Alright. Let's start with the first enemies we fought. Terrapin. Guards in Bowser's Keep who are far too weak. Their helmets limit their vision, so they simply throw punches at random and hope for a lucky hit. Bowser. He was thought to be unstoppable as long as he was on the chandelier. Too bad for him that he underestimated Mario's powerful jump. Wait, Bowser could have been sheep? Bowser could have been sheep? They hold the chandeliers in their teeth without uttering a single complaint. If they open their mouths to speak, they drop the chandelier. Most Goombas can be defeated just by stomping on their heads, but watch out, these Goombas' heads are hard enough to attack with. Doesn't seem like the impact sound of their ramming attack reverberating inside their shells while they're inside would get on their nerves. Spiky. The sharp spikes on their backs are important protection against Mario's jump attacks, so they require diligent maintenance. Hammer Bro. They pretended there was only one, but when the battle started, suddenly there were two. Where in the world was that other one hiding? Yeah. Frogog. Frogogs dislike hanging out with other Frogogs because they do when someone calls out Frogog, it's hard to tell who they mean. Canine. Their official name is Bluish Tinged Gray Canine, due to character count limitations. It displays as simply Canine in-game. Funny. Croco. He doesn't actually realize the value of Mallow's grandpa's coin, he just thought Mallow looked like an easy mark. Shymore. They look like Shy Guys, but they're a completely different species that are part of the Smithy Gang. They attack with vehicles called Shy Hoppers. Bodyguard. They got roped into being Clay Morton's bodyguards because they happen to be standing there. Otherwise, they're not much stronger than other Shymores. Clay Morton. It may seem like he loves bouncing as much as Shymores. Wrong. He loves it way more. All he ever thinks about is how cool he can make his next bounce. Cheep Cheep. A Cheep Cheep born and raised in the sewers, washed away to a certain pond. It returned to the sewers later since all its assets were underwater. Rat Funk. Hey, Rat Funk. That's my man. They live underground or in other damp places, but they're actually sticklers for cleanliness, so they wear white gloves to keep their hands germ-free. Oh. Hobgoblin. Since becoming undead, they've sung nothing but elegies each day, but they do wish they could sometimes sing upbeat, happy songs as well. Shadow. These monsters are born from dim light and dwell in darkness. Shadows may even lurk in the nooks of corners of rainy cities. Kingdom Hearts reference. Boo. They scream to try and debilitate their enemies with fear, but they end up startling themselves too. Their hearts are secretly always pounding. Oh. What? Oh, I actually never fought the what. Oh yeah, I never found him. I was wondering where the fuck he was. Belome. On occasion, you may see some pronounce it Belome, but the proper pronunciation is Belum. Take care to pronounce that O correctly. What? Okay, dear. What does the tilde over the... How does the tilde over the O work? I'm mad now. I always called them Belome. But apparently, that's wrong.
Oh.
Evidently, that's wrong.
Let's see.
Star Slap. I am not a slap. I am not a star either. I don't know, it's Star Slap. Shy Guy. Though easily recognizable, they may not have the name recognition of Goombas or Koopa Paratroopas, so don't be shy. Say hi to Shy Guys. Snapdragon. The sleep pollen that snapdragons produce doesn't work on them, so sleep-deprived snapdragons use the pollen from their friends instead. Oh. Crook. When a crook flees without stealing anything, it's because they've abandoned the idea of Mario carrying anything of value. Oh, rude. Arachne. Arachnids have a rude habit of using their venom drool on foes lacking cleansing juice. Also rude. Poison growth. Wiggler. In the forest maze, known as Wiggler Forest because Wigglers live there. Or are they called Wigglers because they live in Wiggler Forest? No one knows. Gorilla. They have high HP and attack and their thrown rocks hurt quite a bit, so watch out for that. They often get mistaken for someone else. I'm more conviction any resemblance to pre-existing apes is pretty coincidental. Amanita. Amanitas are always spinning around and around. They probably spin forever as long as the world keeps turning. Octolot. The wingy thing is that the Octolots dangle from the back, so they don't seem to be paratroopers. Just try telling that to them, though. Buzzard. The debate over whether these are bumblebees or rumblebees has raged for nearly 30 years, but the true answer is in your heart. Bowyer. The heads of the Rose Town citizens looked like targets to him, so he let loose a volley of arrows on them. He is attended by his arrow followers, arrows. Lava Bubble. They're on fire, but do they get hot or burned? No matter what you ask them, they just keep burning away. What goes on in their little minds? Piranha Plant. They face upward and snap their jaws threateningly before biting. They haven't realized that this telegraphs their attacks for action commands. Shy Ranger. I never fought the Shy Ranger either. Interesting. So there's 2 enemies I actually haven't fought yet. Plus all the strong clones from Balloom. Children eventually become parents, carried and thrown by their own young. Thus are the Magmites' ways passed from generation to generation. Bob-omb. Careless detonations can lead to cave-ins, so if the miners of Mobile see one of these around the mines, they leave the area immediately. Enigma.
It's a longer O, like ocean.
So Balloom.
Balloom.
Weird. Balloom. Oh. You'd think that they'd get along since they always act the same, but words on their days off, they do their own thing and barely even talk. Cluster. Some think that Cluster's crystal body is armored to guard the true form from magic. Insiders must be well protected. Croco in the mole mines. Before he knew it, the 3 fledgling thieves he met on the Rose Way looked to him as a leader. They've since had many successful escapes as a gang. Punchinello created these microbombs by studying bob-ombs. Due to their smaller size, they also are less powerful than a true bob-omb. Mesobomb. Punchinello left home to accomplish something big. This outsized bomb was one stab at making that dream come true. Punchinello. As a result of throwing bombs willy-nilly to become a famous bomb maker, he faced exploder's remorse and flamed out early. Spikester. Apparently the Spikies living in Booster Pass turned green from the health drinks they subsist on, which are made from fresh grass. Artichoker. It's a little known fact that these came first and that the vegetables were named for their resemblance to the deadly monster. Lakitu. You can't fight Lakitus in midair without jumping from a high place, but you knew that, of course, since you've battled one, right? Karabascus. They know they should get more veggies in their diet, but they're picky eaters, so they mostly just go for carrots. Apprentice. As apprentices, they undergo intense daily training, such as chasing beetles in hopes of becoming snifters. Sniffit. They seem to have no interest in becoming snifters and are content to remain sniffits forever. Orb
I'll
user.
be right back.
They look like magic staves, but they have cutting-edge features such as the ability to stretch or shrink themselves at will. Right. Jester. They carry cards on them, so they're always ready to play, but their habit of throwing cards around means they never get to play with the full deck. Rude. Snifter, we already saw that. Those who distinguish themselves are promoted snifters. Scuttlebutt is that whoever defeats the intruder in the tower will get the nod. Dallox. They look like marionettes, but who then are the puppeteers? And where are they hiding themselves? I'm so curious that it keeps you up at night. Rob-omb. They seem to be more powerful than the standard ones, but their appearance and behavior hasn't changed much. Blaster. They may look like ordinary cannons, but the bullets they shoot have eyes, hands, and mouths that grin almost as if they were alive. Lava Bubble. Lava Blubble. Sorry, Blubble. Their blue bodies bobble and bounce, blowing blistering bursts of fire saber, leaving the brave boiling and bereft. Chain Chomp. No one knows why there were chain chomps in the tower. It's possible that somewhere in there is a chain chomp awaiting a worthy master. Booster when caught. Fought after failing to you. Due to the mounting expenses for tower and train maintenance, he doesn't have the coins to repair his busted door. It's marked with "Will not fix." Knife Guy. His best skill is knife throwing, but he can climb on his brother's shoulders while his brother stands on the ball, so he's also no slouch at balancing. Great Guy. He picked up ball bouncing as a hobby, but now he can't help but balance on other things too. His only flaw is a tendency to sweat under stress. Torch. They are skilled chefs who make delicious cakes. Their tall chef hats block their vision, so sometimes they toss in seasonings on intuition alone. Bundt. The top layer of the cake baked by torch. Despite its name, it is not a bundt cake. Raspberry. The bottom layer of torch cake. If it had to be born a cake, it wishes that its baker had gone with more traditional strawberries rather than raspberries. Fair enough. Throfer. Whenever the Throfers living on Star Hill look at the shooting stars that fall around them, they wish that the world was theirs. Oh. Gecko. Their eyes aren't smiling because they're dizzy, it's because they're so paralyzed trying to decide between all the attacks at their disposal. Oh. Mastodon. A new third theory has arisen in the debate whether mastodons are mammoths or elephants, but the evidence for it is pretty bare bones. Sacket. Like crooks, sackets run away on quick legs. If a crook and a sacket met, which do you think would flee first? Pulsar. We've already covered the Pulsar's idiosyncrasies in their thought peak. Feel free to look it up next time you meet one. By the stars, or get hitting. Quite. Zeostar. I'm not a 5, I'm not a 7 either. Zeostar the 6th. Blooper. Maybe they use Ink Blast, which deals 150% normal damage because their normal attacks aren't enough. You could say that they're a sucker for a strong attack. Mr. Kipper. We tried to do an interview about the origin of Mr. Kipper's name, but he just skipped around without answering us. Krusty. The bubble it uses is a trusty way of defending itself when it hasn't fought in a while and is getting rusty. It's the sweat secreted when it's flustered. Luco. Didn't actually fight him either. Greeper. They love souls and use their sickles to swiftly harvest the souls of their enemies, but what do they do with the souls once they have them? Strawhead. The book Psychoanalysis theorizes that their use of moves that transform others into mushrooms and scarecrows reveals their own desire to transform. Reacher. The way they throw dreadfully big bones with their dreadfully long arms is so dreadful that one might think of them as otherworldly. Dry bones. The bones they throw can't be their own, surely? They look like they would collapse if they threw their own bones. They must be special bones for throwing. Alley rat. They are rather strong for their small size, and their bite attack is deadlier than you'd think. They are good at manual labor and always wear gloves. Enigmax. They are bats despite being pigs, and pigs despite being bats. A group despite being singular, and a singular despite being a group. Oh. Tentacle left. Though they all look identical, some are considered left or right tentacles based on the direction they grow. These have a firm springiness when chewed. Though they all look at these are softer and easier to chew on. King Calamari. He loves squeezing his limber body into incredibly tight spaces. You could say he's gotten into getting into things. Whoa. Worried about what might be in the box? You should be. It's whoa. They're always watching you. Mini Goomba. They're very small. Bandana Red. Wear your red bandana proud, sing our song and sing it loud. We're carefree pirates, yo ho, yo ho ho. Bandana Blue. Wear your blue bandana proud, stand fast against every wave and cloud. Yo ho, yo ho ho. Johnny. Johnny's bested the man-eating shark that terrorized the seas, thereby ruling the oceans. I have become the king of the pirates, he thought. Shut up.
No.
Spiritovich. He fervently desires promotion and is desperate for his boss, Smithy, to like him. He's good at butting in to take cheap jabs at his colleagues. Spiritovich Duplicate. His fervent desire for promotion and desperation for Smithy's approval is unchanged, even as a duplicate. Formless. Oh fuck, that's right, I didn't fight that thing. Gasox. Didn't fight him either. Chow. When becoming a Chow, a bluish-tinged gray canine's fur changes from bluish-tinged gray, making it stronger than a bluish-tinged gray canine. You don't say. Shogun. They wait for foes in the sinkholes of the Land's End Desert. You can also get a frog coin by stomping on them in the field 3 times. Octobator. They picked the name Octobator because to seem cool. They're rivals with Octolots and always battle when they meet. Their favorite fruit is bananas. Okay. Gekit.
Okay.
Apparently they're called Gekits because they're geckos who are a little more with it. But no fashion statement stays in style forever. Bezo. Apparently they have their own theme song called Beat It Bezo, which they seldom sing in front of others. If you manage to hear it, count yourself lucky. Chewy. For most flora, a flower of a different color is still the same species, but for this monster, when its color changes, its name changes along with it. Spinthra. Judging by their looks, you'd think they deliver powerful venom. Instead, they turn their foes into scarecrows, which is so much worse. Stinger. These seem to be called stingers because they're pointy barbs, but buzzers also have stingers, and stingers make buzzing sounds. So... Fig flower. The wishy-washy behavior they exhibit by attacking with leaf whips before blowing a sweet kiss is less carrot stick than carrot and stick. Griffin. You may think you've seen these scurrying steps somewhere, but if you listen to the footsteps closely, it's more like a riff on a familiar theme. Ribbite. Oh yeah, I didn't actually... thought I fought him. Belome Temple. Who knows where he went off to or what he was doing, but that rascally Belome, or rather, Belome, has shown his face again. There. Mario clone. You normally only see Mario from the back, so getting to observe his attacks head-on is a rare experience. Milo clone. Since he is a clone, he is considerably less fluffy. He also doesn't cry as easily, and of course he can probably go to the bathroom at night all by himself. Geno clone. Technically, this is a Geno doll clone. A nicer way to put it might be to call it a Geno doll replica. A less nice way to put it would be a Geno doll knockoff. Nice. Bowser clone. It's easy to tell that this is a clone because of the fancy way he rolls his R's when he speaks. You don't hear that. Trust us. He does. I did hear that.
No.
Peach clone. Very well made for a clone. If brought to the Mushroom Kingdom, the Chancellor would no doubt believe that this Princess Peach was still in the castle. Jagger. Despite all his training, he's not much stronger, but that's no surprise since his strategy is still based around hoping for a lucky hit. Jinx tested capabilities. He's nowhere near experienced enough to beat me. I should be okay as long as I use Valor Up and occasionally attack twice. Jinx, you asked for it. This is a bad time for me to start sympathizing with my opponents. I've got Quicksilver and Silver Bullet, and they won't be expecting those. Jinx, Sensei in action. If they let their guard down, they're done for. They'll learn soon enough. With bombs away after Vigor Up, I'm not holding back. I can't lose. Helix, original. He crossed dimensions in order to come here from the world of Last Illusion, a story about crystals. Too bad he's still so two-dimensional. Look up Last Illusion. See if that's real. Fire Crystal. A crystal with the mastery over fire. It has burning dissatisfaction with its master, who is trying to burn the fire of justice into a malevolent force. Water Crystal. A crystal with mastery of water. It requires a damp environment to bestow the soothing power of water which supports life. Earth Crystal. Mastery over earth. After its long slumber deeper than the earth, it unleashed amplified tremors all at once as it awakened. Wind Crystal. A crystal with the mastery over wind. The howls of wind crossing the world and whipping up atmosphere echo thunderously from it. Pleaseno. Freaking out about what might be in the box? You should be. It's a Pleaseno! They never ever stop watching you. Ginny. It was thought that cheating at treasure chest slots and confined inside a Pleaseno in punishment, where it was being forced to clean. Oh. Chomp Chomp. You might seem riled up, but they're just playful at heart. They get a bad rap because they're absurdly painful bite. Smilax. Is it strange to call these Smilaxes when the only time they show their pearly teeth is to bite? Mega Smilax. It can use Petal Blast even though it isn't the right season for it to bloom. That's what you get. That's what you get from a freak of nature like this. Pretty though. Birdie. Grinder is their move where they swipe their spears instead of using their claws. As they say, the early birdie grinds the worm. Big Troopa. In their downtime from serving in Bowser's minions, they are in high demand as shell wax models. Double page spreads only, of course. Slingshy. When they ring their bells and let fly a doom reverb, it feels like your gloves are off. But to them, they're just treating you to a song. Orbison. They want to heal injured orb users, but they're going through a trial separation right now. Will the orb users and Orbisons ever reunite? Pinwheel. They spin to blow air and hinder people walking, but I've heard a rumor on the wind that there's one in the town somewhere blowing pleasant breezes. Muckle. They have the same appearance and behavior as Lucos, distinguished only by their color, but they're definitely not filler. That's just how monsters are. Jawful. These big eaters are known as the gourmands of the imp world. They love meat dishes, especially hamburgers and hashed beef rice. Fantastic, my man. Shaman. Strong enemies who employ powerful magic. Some of them retire and enjoy a second career as shopkeepers. Bluebird. If you underestimate one, thinking it's no different from a birdie, its powerful ice magic will leave you pale with fear. Shelly. To understand what they're all about, you need to peek at the thoughts of the person inside, not the suspicious Shelly. Don't rush me. Birdo. The way that she shut herself away inside Shelly may mean that she was patiently pining for the one who'd come break open her shell. Egbert. They may bounce like they haven't a care in the world, but if they're hit with an attack, they'll explode immediately. Talk about being excitable. Dodo. He imprinted on Valentina when he hatched and thought she was his mother. He was shocked to discover that he was secretly the Prince of Nimbusland. Valentina's attendant, Dodo. He resents Valentina, who's not his real parent, and took out some of her statues, but ultimately, he can't ignore his debt to her for raising him. Valentina. She knows enough about food to pronounce pizza in the traditional way. Her favorite candy is those Valentine's message hearts, chalky as they are. Magmus. Since they resemble Magmite in shape and color, and because their names start with the same 4 letters, we often get each other's mail by mistake. Armored Ant, they're jealous of Shoguns because their names sound a lot cooler. Lava Babble. I've seen a whole lot of monsters, but I still have a really hard time telling the difference between Lava Babbles and Lava Bubbles. Chain Kong. Those who fled from the village of the gorillas settled at Barrel Volcano. As time passed, they eventually came to be known as Chain Kongs. Vollmer. Is it too much of a stretch to guess that the reason they carry water bottles is to fight the heat stroke caused by the volcano's unbearable temperature? Ah, that's funny because dry bones drop pure water, which you can use on undead enemies to instantly kill them. Funny. Earthspike. These urchin-like creatures were thought to live only in the sea, but these live in the sea of magma. Stomppiller. They give new meaning to the idea of stomping your feet in frustration. Body. Because they don't touch the ground, they can't stamp along with their feet. It must be a frustrating feeling. Stump It. Their go-to attack is backfire, but when they're in a tough fight or fly off the handle or fall in love, they get agitated and use Va-Va-Voom instead. Ooh, Va-Va-Voom. Azar Dragon. Stone statues were built in its image to soothe its temper, but the likeness was way off, so in the end, they didn't have much of an effect. Bitch, the likeness exactly the fucking same. Helio. It looks like a rock, so you might wonder if it can even be considered a monster, but since you can get a peek at its thoughts, it must be one, right? I didn't actually take a thought peek at Helio, because I just killed it with splash damage. Zombone. The character designer's reasoning for giving it a tattered clothing only after it becomes zombified is because it didn't look like a zombie without it. Okay, I mean, I guess. You know? Dear? Am I alone? Hello? Dear? I am alone. Oh shit. Am I back in? Hello? Can you hear me now? No, you can't. Can this hear me? Yes, it can. Oh, what the hell? Hello? I don't know what Discord's doing. I don't know what Discord's doing. I'm gonna check something. Alright. So my computer was doing a nonsense thing, so I have to have her on the phone, but we'll finish up the enemy list, and I guess I will call that there. Yeah. Axum Red. Though he is the de facto leader of the Axum Rangers, he's so careless that he often flubs his poses, intro speeches, and group formations. Yeah, I gotta figure out what the fuck that is, because if that's gonna fuck with Discord while we stream, that's gonna piss me off a lot. Axum Black. He's cool and composed, but like all the Axum Rangers, something about him is a bit pathetic. He's got his beloved sunglasses at a dollar store. Axum Yellow. Always calm and doesn't sweat the small stuff. The other Axum Rangers think he's aloof, but he hasn't bothered to notice. Axum Green. Considers himself the looker of the team. He tires easily, not from being out of shape, but from too much hot yoga. Axum Pink. She considers herself the princess of the group. Meeting an actual princess has done nothing to change her mind at this point. The Blade. Admittedly, its Breaker Beam attack would be a lot cooler if it was called Absolute Breaker of Champions Beam, but we're not getting paid by the word here. Terracotta. A step up in terms of power compared to Terrapins, but at the end of the day, they're still Terrapins. The red color doesn't make them 3 times as fast. Pro Goomba. The pro in their names makes them sound like professionals, but their use of Thornet is amateurish at best. You can't always trust branding. Star Cruster. The star part has nothing to do with the Star Road or Star Pieces. We just thought it was a nice sounding name. Is that so wrong? Porky. Unlike Jawfuls, they prefer seafood. They get carried away by thinking about raw oyster season. Malakoopa. These guys fly pretty quick. Maybe they should change their name to Malazumas instead. Grand Troopa. They have more HP than Big Troopas, but the real reason for their higher rank is their outsized personalities. Big Blaster. They look just like blasters, but count as separate monsters because of their different abilities. New versions to tech always have minor feature upgrades. Come on. Terrified of what you might find in the box? You should be. It's come on. They're almost invariably watching you. Bahamut. Oh, they're very powerful. They don't show up in battle unless summoned, which means they spend most of their lives waiting for their moment to shine. That's funny because you don't get to see most Bahamuts in Final Fantasies unless you actually summon him too. Funny. Wizakoopa. With Wizakoopa's magical treasure box having 9,999 coins in your fantasy, just be careful not to hit it so much that your arm cramps. Jinx clone. Jinx clone. Didn't see that. King Bomb, didn't see that. Where were all these enemies? Boomer. In addition to the sword, bow, spear, and axe bosses, Smithy Forge, there's also this katana wielder. Though a weapon boss, he has the heart of a samurai. Exor. It's named after the legendary sword Excalibur, but since swords don't exist in Mario's world, there's no way for Mario to get the reference. Right eye, just as the dominant hands, there is dominant eyes too. This right eye has more HP than left eye, so Exor's dominant eye must be the right one. Left eye. My vision is 2200, add astigmatism to that, and throw in the fact that I'm getting older and need reading glasses, and I'm struggling to even write this text. Ouch. When you eat something delicious, taste flows across your mouth. But the only thing flowing from Exor's mouth is the gate to the weapon world. The Glum Reaper. Driven by terror, they swing their fear sickles. When that escalates to a Reaper sickle, it's really overkill. Amoeboid. They look like Goombas, but they're squishy and have cute round eyes. If you run up against one, just smile and hope for the best. Hippopo. A. The Hippopo is the animal. B. The Hippopo is the rider. C. It could be either. Yeah. If you're reading this 1 in the morning, it's time to stop playing the game. Oh, okay. 1 second. The morning bell, on the right, and the evening bell on the left come together to form a single ring-a-ding. They're watching around the clock to startle oversleepers awake. Rude. Axum Red Machine Maid. Though he is the de facto leader of the Axum Rangers, so careless, so he often publics poses, blah 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 blah. And group formation, same for this one. I never fought Axum Black. Never fought Axum Yellow Machine Maid. This isn't something to look up the team, although now that there are so many of him, he's no longer sure which is the most beautiful. She considers herself the princess of the group. In her eyes, all the other machine made versions of her are duchesses at best. Jabbit. It seems like even Smithy himself wasn't sure which weapon this monster was supposed to be themed around. Mad Mallet. They absolutely adore their job and think about it constantly. Their job being smashing stuff, of course. One more time. Pounder. They have absolutely adore smashing stuff, think about it constantly, smashing stuff is their job, of course. Poundette. They absolutely adore, love, and think about it constantly, love being what they know will win in the end, though of course that's not part of their job. Springer. There are no machine-made versions of Shymores or Springers. This is because they were designed for mass production from the start. Puppbox. Smithy is primarily a metalsmith, but if he can make wooden puppets like these, he must be a skilled woodworker as well. Clay Morton machine-made. You may think the already strong Clay Morton would be terrifying when mass-produced, but Mario's team is a lot stronger than they were then. Bodyguard machine-made. From weakest to strongest, it goes Shymore, Bodyguard, Springer, then machine-made Bodyguard, but at the end of the day, it's still a minion. They seem to have a lot more guts than regular boos. Their screams only scare themselves a little. Doppel. I went as a boo for Halloween. The kids thought I was cute and had big smiles on their faces. I was a Doppel the next year. and those smiles turn to shrieks. Boyer machine made. The cost of mass-producing boyers is sky high since each one requires dozens of mass-produced arrows. Originally, ninjas concealed themselves under the cover of night, but these wear fluttering red scarves and outfits and look like they'd be hit with tourists. Cloaker. He's shaped a little like a clay pot, but Smithy isn't a potter, so he's made out of iron. His mustache is made out of ultra-thin iron plates painted white. Fancy. Domino. He looks exactly like a magician, and he mainly attacks using spells. I get wanting a magic boss here, but what happened to the whole weapon world shtick? Cloaker. Fused. He may look like he's just riding on the snake's head, but Cloaker insists that they have formed a single creature. Bad Adder. Apparently it would be called something else if it was used a Domino instead of Cloaker, which raises the question, what is this monster's true name? Domino Fuse. He may look like he's just riding on the snake's head, but Domino insists it's a creature. Alright. Spirit-of-Bitch machine made. If all machine-made Spirit-of-Bitches sought promotions, the Smithy gang would have impossibly top-heavy organizational chart. Jab it. Didn't fight him. Clerk. 10 years since I signed on with Smithy, huh? I'm finally managing a production line and have Mad Mallet subordinates. Where has the time gone? Manager. I put my nose to the grindstone for 25 years. I finally climbed my way up to manager, but I can still aim higher and boost my efficiency from 30 to 45%. Luckily, I was able to shift into a director role at an industry-leading firm at this critical time with my son's exams. Now I'll work with the union on labor reform. If we can meet this month's goal of 1,000 Shymore units, then next month we can look forward to a goal of 50 full gun yoke units. Oh no. Gun yoke. Smithy didn't even make this. A mere factory chief was the one who invented it. In that light, does it still qualify as a monster? Smelter. I'm worried about customer complaints if we advertise this thing, which is in no way alive, as a monster. Shiper. As previously explained, Shymores are not Shy Guys, and neither are Shipers. They're Smithy originals. Come at me now! I'll crush you all! The quotable Smithy. Roar! The wind wisdom of Smithy. Smithy tank. The tank needs no engine to move. It's powered by my will. The man called Smithy. Casket. I meant to say, I'll see you in this casket, but I ended up sealing myself in. Learn from a tyrant's mistakes. Wizard. Miracle transformation. Star. I'll cast my maniacal magic on your heart. Magical boy Smithy. Treasure chest. Convert head to treasure box mode. Surprise on opening. Toggle on. Smithy's one simple secret. Smithy body. Now that Smithy has been defeated, the Star Road is restored, and your wish to finish this game has come true. Congratulations. Scratchy Throat Belome. Belome has lived in Belome Temple for a long time since people started calling the frog sage a sage. Back in the days when he had just grown his hind legs. Strong Mario clone. It's unclear what this Mario clone is thinking. Why can't he use gestures to convey his thoughts like the real one? Strong Mallow clone, haven't seen it. Strong Geno clone, haven't seen it. Strong Bowser clone, haven't seen it. Strong Peach clone. If she was copied this faithfully from the real Peach, then surely her shoes, ring, brooch, and crown are all identical to the originals as well. True. Leveled up Punchinello. He says he wants to go home famous. Little does he know he's already well known in his hometown as a goofball who Mario beat twice. Oh no. Strong Bomb Punchinello's most powerful bomb created after honing his bomb-making skills. Looks like this time he wasn't bluffing about his last resort. Engine 23 Booster. He sold his favorite game to a boy in the Mushroom Kingdom for 100 coins to raise funds. Do you suppose that boy's playing that game even now? No, I'm playing that game now. Beatlemania. So Beatlemania came from Booster. Cool. I thought I beat the strong snifter, but I guess I didn't kill him. Since Torts wear their chef hats low over their eyes, they feel sure that no one would notice if they nodded off during a late night shift. Probably. Extra fancy bun. Having been created for a celebration, it naturally thinks each time its candles are lit is a joyous occasion, which makes it more and more exciting. Extra fancy raspberry. Whenever Bunt gets excited, this lower layer gets a little sad that it doesn't have candles of its own. Oh no. Mario style Jinx. It was only after the rematch that Jinx realized if he was going to learn anything about teamwork moves, Jagger should have fought as well. Oh no. Duel Ready Johnny. After the final great showdown with the strongest opponent ever, Johnny looked out the window and thought, I burned bright, didn't I? Like a blue flame. QLEX 3D. You beat the toughest fight in the game, congratulations. Fire Crystal 3D. His power of fire, it's unhappy with its master who wants to use Fire of Justice for evil. Needs a wet place to grant the healing power of water, which gives life. Crystal with the power of earth. It slept underground for a long time, causing extra bad quakes. Power of wind, the sound of wind slicing through the air can be heard all over the world. And with that, we are done. So, I might farm some frog coins and get the last handful of monsters and shit that I didn't get and buy them. But, not sure about that. So, I think I'm good to shelve the game for here. I did everything I wanted to do, everything that I feel like I am muscularly skilled to do, i.e. I can't get those 100 fucking jumps. So, have a great day, and we'll see you here some other time with another game. Probably more Kiryu nonsense for Yakuza.